Hey, what's going on, guys? You know, it's always a pleasure to be behind the scenes. I love these type of green room conversations. I think that's what I'm going to call it, green room conversations. So Matthew C. Horne, so I don't have to read this long bio they give me. You know what I mean? Give us a little bit about the backstory. Who is Matthew? What journey have you been on, and what are you up to today? We'll get into your book, but what's up, man? What's going on?
Hey, well, I just want to thank you, Shay, and I want to thank the Happy Entrepreneurship listeners for tuning in today. And this, I want to be thankful for this amazing platform. Who I am, Matthew C. Horne. I'm a native of Prince George's County, Maryland. I came up through the PG County school system, played Division I basketball, discovered my calling for motivational speaking at 19, got my first book contract at 22. So for the last 14 years, I've been doing motivational speaking. I've written 6 books, and I have a book publishing company, and I have a marketing and PR company exclusively for authors. So that's my sweet spot. That's my lane. And once again, Shay, thank you for having me on the show today.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. We got to get into this playing basketball thing, man. I got to hear about that a little later, by the way. You can't just slide that in. I played Division I basketball. You know, I got cut from the basketball team when I was in junior high by Coach Fred Miller. He said I was a little too short, although I thought I was the biggest guy out there, and I had the biggest heart, and I was a hustler, man. So we'll come back to that. But if I can, so we don't get into your big why. That's so boring. What's your passion? Because I heard you say you got the PR. I heard you say you got a book publishing company. I heard you say you've written 6 books. I mean, that's a lot. And you're doing motivational speaking. What's your passion? What's your purpose, my man?
My purpose is to help other people to discover their purpose. I believe that we all have very unique music that we showed up here to play. And we showed up here to play our music exactly the way that it was given to us. So I'm here to give people permission to be themselves, to unapologetically live their truth, as the subtitle says of my new book. So it's just nothing more than showing people how to be in tune with their music and how to unapologetically play it for their designated audience. That's my purpose.
Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing about this, man. And Earl, my man,
Yes,
where are you broadcasting in for, man? And for the folks that are watching and looking, they want to know who in the LL Cool J are you, man? So give us your backstory. We got to get going a little while, but give us your backstory and the journey you've been on, man. What's up?
I'd like to thank you, man, and thank the tribe for having me on today. I think what you're doing is phenomenal, and I think the entrepreneurial mindset, skill set, understanding is by far one of the most high valuable human skill sets in the market today. So just a little bit about myself. I spent a lot of time in the military. I was enlisted in the Navy. I was an officer in the Marine Corps. I left to go try to take corporate America by storm a couple of decades ago. Ended up working in the sales and marketing sides of high-tech startups. Did that to a pretty degree, did that for a while, ended up selling a few companies and getting out and venturing out on my own. Now I have a couple of tech companies. I have one based in Seattle. I'm broadcasting from Seattle today. I split my time between Seattle and Las Vegas. I have an IT staffing and consulting company based in Seattle. I have an aggregation company that's focused on AI and blockchain technologies. And I also have a lifestyle podcast and brand that is more of a passion project than a business, but I keep a lot of things on the plate, man.
Yeah, you do, man. I admire what you do, man. And, I don't want to leave you out. I got to ask a moment ago, what's the purpose? What's the passion?
Yeah.
What is it all about? Tell us, what's yours?
Well, it looks like I'm in the company of like-minded people, man. I have built a life and a mission around living that pursue your passion, speak. I try to help people. I try to help inspire people to find out what their passion is, and then by any means necessary, find a way to pursue it, incorporate it into their lifestyle, have it mean something to what they choose as a career path, because I think that's the magic sauce we have as human beings.
Wow. What should the audience expect from you today? I see Nicole Brown Hurston. What's going on? Dr. Kenneth Thigpen is in the house. Cleveland Dixon, you're bringing out the all-stars, man. My good friend, Cleveland Dixon. You've got Dee Bolden and Lee Fuller and so many folks that are tuning in, man. What can they expect of this whole game plan thing that's going on, man?
Here's my thing, man. I'm going to try my best in the short period of time we have today to give people just some fundamentals that they can apply to supercharge their game plan, regardless of what that game plan is. We have health game plans, life game plans, business game plans, but I'm going to try to focus on the fundamentals of just any game plan, that if you apply these starting tonight, you should see a difference. I'm going to try my best to give you the answers to whatever test I've gone through the long and hard way.
Ah, man, I can't wait. And Matthew C. Horne, what should they expect from you this evening? I know you've written the book. Tell them the name of the book. Give them the subtitle. We'll get into it, but what should they expect this evening for those folks that are tuning in this morning, this afternoon, tonight, whatever time it is for them, wherever they are in the world? What should they expect from you, my man?
Okay, well, they should expect I'm going to give us some strategies from my new book, The Successful Dreamer, How to Unapologetically Live Your Truth. My goal and objective tonight is just to empower the listeners to, have the strategies to unapologetically live their truth, to live their dreams. And, I'll just be talking about how to become a successful dreamer, what you're going to face at every stage of your dream pursuit, and ultimately how to emerge victorious into your promised land and get everything that's due to you.
Go to the promised land, Earl. Get what's due. I can't wait. What's up, Anisha? She's out in Las Vegas with you, by the way. Thanks for joining. Josephine's on the line. Look, we're behind the scenes. We're in the green room. We're about to get started. But I'm going to ask them just one more question. I'm going to ask them what is their favorite, not quote, but what is their favorite affirmation? Something that they tell themselves. Don't worry. Earl's going to get into the game plan. Don't worry. Matthew C. Horne has his book. He's going to tell you where to go get it. He's going to talk about that. But just before we get going, I'll go first to Matthew C. Horne and say, man, what's your affirmation, man? What do you tell yourself to keep yourself going? And then Earl will come right over to you. Matthew, talk to us as we get going, my man.
Oh, okay. I always remind myself that an opinion is just a collection of thoughts in the minds of others, and only you know your truth and are therefore obligated to live it.
Ah, love it. Earl, what's yours, my man?
I'm going to stick with a quote. You said, quote, my mind went there. So one of my most driving quotes is, we can't become who we need to be by remaining who we are. It is about continuous embracing change and leveraging it. And I'm excited to share what little I know.
Embracing change and leveraging. I can't wait. Hey, I'm getting the signal. We got to get going in 5. Welcome, everybody. 4. What's up, Karen? 3, 2. John, I see you. 1. Let's kick this party off, folks. It's showtime. I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win. Yeah.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country, where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower. Our mission is to inspire. And our mission is to provide you. No, that's you, the entrepreneur, with the resources. That's the money that you need to execute, I believe, the 3 visions you have for yourself. #1, you have a vision for yourself. The way you want to live, the clothes you want to the clothes you want to wear, the car you want to drive, how you want to look, how you want to feel. You have a vision, #2, for your loved ones. Those are the ones you care the most about. Those are the kids you want to send to a school of your choice. Those are the fancy restaurants you want to eat in with the white tablecloth. It's the vacations that you want to take. It takes resources. It takes vision. And then many of you, when I say vision, I mean revenue. And then many of you, the third vision you have is you have a vision for the people you were called to serve. And this morning, this evening, this afternoon, that vision you have, I brought 2 of the baddest, boldest, brightest, coolest brothers I could find on the planet to be here right now to share with you exactly how you can step by step really achieve your dream. And what day is a better day to do it than when we're 1 day away from National Quit Resolutions Day? You can go Google that, by the way. You go Google National Resolution Quit Day. Tomorrow is that day. But that won't happen because I said, guys, we've got to find a way to share what we got because there's someone out there that's ready to change their life. So I'll start off with you, Matthew, as I'm looking at Rhonda. What's up, Rhonda, that's out there, and Erica and so many folks. You know, we have this mission, we have this value, and it's called Today is my January 1. And today is my January 1st. Represents a new start, a new beginning, a do-over. We all get that when we wake up in the morning, but I want to frame the conversation for you. January 1st, many moments throughout the day, we make a decision, and that decision can change the trajectory of our life. We either go to the gym as we promised we would do, or we sit on the couch and watch Netflix. We either eat a hamburger and french fries, which we shouldn't do, or we open up the refrigerator and we pull out celery and broccoli and carrots. If that don't sound good to you, don't worry about that. It's that moment that changes your life. Matthew, here's my question to you. When you hear today is my January 1st, what does it mean to you? And number two, what was your January 1st moment where you said, I'm going to be an author. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to plant my flag. That's who I am.
Okay, well, what January 1st means to me is that we simply have to create that genesis. And we have to declare any moment that we can create that genesis. And in order to do so, we have to not just acknowledge what we have to do, we have to accept what we must do in order to fulfill these visions and dreams that we have for ourselves. So when you acknowledge something, that's just wordplay. That's nothing behind it. But when you accept it, you implement a consistent and concerted effort until you arrive at that dream or that destination that you see within yourself. So just that's my advice on that piece of topic is just, do not acknowledge, but accept everything that must be done, and then you will arrive at your promised land. And remember that all we have is now. Every moment is an opportunity to create a new beginning. Okay, as far as what was my January the 1st when it came to writing books, I was in a speech class my sophomore year in college playing Division I basketball. And my classmates told me that I should be a motivational speaker. And I thought they were crazy. I said, I'm 6'5" with a jump shot motivational speaker. But they had the most genuine look in their eyes that I had ever seen. So I got a confirmation, within 2 weeks, two more people told me the same thing. And I realized that God and the universe was communicating my purpose to me. Okay, so I accepted my calling at 19 years old. And your calling can be revealed to you, but it has no power until it is accepted. So I knew that at 19 years old, I was spiritually inclined enough to accept my calling. And at 22 years old, I got my first book contract, and the rest was history.
The rest is history. I like that. And what were three things you did as the audience is listening right now? What's up, Justin Burns? The maestro is in the house. Y'all just bring out the all-stars. Y'all really do. They're wondering, what were three things you did just to get started on the journey?
Well, three things I did to get started on the journey was, number one, I had to be aware of what my journey was, what my purpose was. Okay. And number two, I studied to show myself approved. I learned the industry. I was very young, and I began to listen to different motivational speakers and read different motivational books, and really began to get an understanding and awareness of what I was getting myself into. And the third thing was I undertook a fearless pursuit of what I believe was mine and my calling. And when I undertook the fearless pursuit, that's when everything materialized. That's when Les Brown was able to endorse my first book when I was 23 years old. And, I began to speak at major conferences. The doors just continually opened because I surrendered and I took the risk. And that's the third step right there. Just surrender and take the risk.
Surrender and take the risk, man. I can't wait to hear about your book. We'll be getting to that in just a moment. Earl, Mann, that is his last name, Mann, M-A-N-N. I'm not saying Earl, my man. I'm saying Earl Mann, by the way. I really am. Look, man, you're listening. Today is my January 1st. Matter of fact, as you're watching out there, look right below the video. Look right below the video and write that down. That's the affirmation for today. Today is my January 1st. I get a new start. Today is my January 1st. I get a do-over, a rebirth. This is your moment. Earl, first, same question, obviously. First, when you hear today is my January 1st, what goes through your mind? And then second, what was your January 1st moment? Well, you just said, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. This is what I'm going to do.
I got you. And it's funny because I love that, by the way, the January 1st concept. I have a very similar concept called day one, which is the same thing. What day did I flip the switch, decide to make a change? And I have many of those throughout my life. But as regarding to jumping into this crazy world of entrepreneurship, I remembered it clearly. I'm sitting around. I was a an executive in a company, at the top of a company actually, and we brought in a new person. And I'm a very dedicated hard worker, man. I committed all, I'm working beyond no hours all night, doing all the things that people do to make things happen. And in one conference call that I've been having every single week, week in, week out, week in and week out. And one day, on a conference call, things just went sideways. And in the matter of 20 minutes, Shay, I realized that my future was out of my hands, and very significant parts of my future were in the hands of somebody else that I could not control. And it shocked me, it rattled me to the point where I got off that call and I was different. But here's how much it shook me, Shay. I remember my day went on. 4 hours later, I'm sitting at the dinner table. My daughter back then was probably, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2. And I get up and I walk away from the dinner table and walk into my office and don't even bother cutting on the lights, because it all came and hit me. How could I end up here? For as much as I've done, for as much as I do for other people, for as hard as I work, how could I end up in this place where so much of my future is outside of my control? And Shay, I gotta say, man, standing in that dark office, I made a decision that starting the very next day, I'm gonna do something about that. I hated the way I felt standing there in that dark. I hated the way I felt standing there in that moment. I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I knew that next day was gonna be a new day, because I hated so much that feeling of helplessness and hopelessness even. And that's what happened. That was the day that I flipped the switch and everything had to change for me starting the next day.
Wow, today is my January 1st. For those folks out there like Lance Jones, Brian Jarrell, Garrett, we love you out there, Dr. Kim Warren, Martin, Daryl, and so many of you are watching right now. Hit the share button. Hit the share button or hit the watch party button. And when you hit that button, write these words: today is your January 1st. You can make this thing happen. Today is your January 1st. You can start that weight program. Today is your January 1st. You can be an entrepreneur. You can be successful. You can have more meaning in the world and make a difference. With that being said, the question you kind of answered, but I want to lean towards that is, what are 3 things you did to get started on this journey when you had that January 1st moment?
Yeah, so, quite honestly, I didn't know what I needed to do, but I knew it required something different. So my goal was to immediately start taking big action, even if I didn't know what the action needed to be. The first thing I imposed on myself was discipline. I literally set a rule that I would stop my 9 to 5 at 5. I stopped my 9 to 5 at 5, and at 5:01, I called it part 2. At 5:01, I needed to be working on a new plan. I needed to be working on my plan. The second thing I committed to was reaching out to people that seemed to be in places that were down the road I wanted to go, and just to let them know that, hey, I'm in this road, here's what I'm doing, what can you tell me that might be helpful? I became completely open-minded and committed to being a student. And then I doubled down on my personal growth commitment. I've always been a student or fan of personal growth and development, but now it was critical. I had to commit to a structured schedule to increasing my skill set, even though I didn't fully know what was going to be required or what my plan was. I knew I had to do something dramatically different, and I knew I had to take big action and make to do it.
Man, that takes a lot of discipline, man. What's your secret to being disciplined?
Well, a lot of that, we're going to talk through that on this call today. But, honestly, I'm being as transparent as I can. And I hated so much how I felt. I hated the fact that I was in this place, a full-grown man, with so much of my own destiny in the hands of other people. And once I made the commitment that those days were over, that whether I knew how to do it or not, I was going to commit to going down this path, then believe it or not, things started. I wouldn't say discipline was required. I didn't need discipline to do it. Once I made the decision that was happening, discipline, it became a had to do. It wasn't a choice. It was something I had to do.
Something I had to do. I love that, man. I love how you said that. Matthew C. Horne, we're going to get into the successful dreamer, how to unapologetically live your truth. But you talked about today is January 1st moment, and you talked about being a basketball player, Division I. You talked about being a motivational speaker. You have a publishing company, a PR firm. What was it like starting off just being an author? You've written 6 books, and we're going to get into the book. Ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment, we're going to go into this segment. We're going to learn all about this book. But I'm curious what his January 1st moment was when he said, I can write a book. Because typically, to speak, you maybe not write, but you can write, but maybe not speak. And you published 6 books. That's kind of phenomenal, man. What was that moment you said, I'm going to tell the stories?
Okay. The moment that I decided that I was going to tell the story, I was 22 years old, and I was getting trained by two of Les Brown's speakers to become a motivational speaker. It was Johnny Wimbrey and Kevin Bracey were helping me out at the time through a teleconference training. And towards the end of the training, they offered me the opportunity. By this time, I was in my last semester of college. This was 2005. They offered me the opportunity to co-author a book with them. And it's not something that I had really entertained in terms of writing a book. I wasn't even out of college yet, but their belief in me gave me belief in myself. So I signed on the contract to do the co-authored book, and I was taking 4 English classes just trying to graduate. And in my free time, I was writing my chapter for the book. And that was it. And in doing that, I gained enough confidence before that book even came out to begin writing my first solo book, The Universe is Inviting You In. And that was a book that went on to talk about how God communicates our purpose to us, and just more or less where we fit within the grand scheme of creation, and just how to successfully undertake a dream pursuit. So that was my genesis. That was my moment right there when I was offered the book contract. And I had to establish that level of belief in myself, even though I was so young. And that has set me up for life. That one risk, that one ability to lean towards what I believe, what I had to offer to this world, set me up for life. And everybody has that something inside of them. And just always have a God consciousness. Don't worry about opinions and what people are saying, even your own self-doubt. Understand that you've been given these truths, and you've been given permission to live your truth. And it's really that simple. Anything outside of that has nothing to do with you. And that's how I got here. I didn't allow anything, my age, people's doubts, people's opinions. I let none of that get in my way. And I simply leaned on the gift that God gave me, and it set me up for life.
Man, I love it. Thanks for being transparent. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we're going to dive deep into The Successful Dreamer, a book that Matthew C. Horne has just finished writing, just released, I should say. It's a 6th book. And for those folks that are listening right now, do me a favor. Look right below the video and write these words: dream big, do bigger. Dream big, do bigger. And again, look right below the video. Now, why would you want to write dream big, do bigger? Because you can do big things. And as soon as Matthew C. Horne finished telling us about the book, how you can be a successful dreamer and how you can really live the life you really want, Earl Mann's going to talk about how to execute that game plan. It's one thing to have a plan. It's another thing to execute. I think it was Mike Tyson. Everybody has a plan until they hit. We're going to find out how these two gentlemen have been hit. We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to go over to Laurel, Maryland, a place they're both familiar with, and connect with Rob Howes. Rob Howes, hit the share button. And Rob Howes is going to be talking about be present where you are. Be present where you are. We'll be right back with Matthew C. Horne, the successful dreamer. He's the author. How to unapologetically live your truth. Not a lie. Live your truth. I'm going to ask him, why does he make a subtitle, Live Your Truth? We'll figure that out. We'll be back in just a moment. Take it away, Rob.
Hey guys,
All right.
me and Daddy are here.
All right, I'm doing a video.
I got a question.
No, it's not a question. This is a video where I'm telling people something. I'm telling them that today is their January 1st. Today is your January 1st, Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe, because today is the only day you got. Because tomorrow's not promised and yesterday is gone. So the reason why today being your January 1st is significant because it keeps you from procrastination. Procrastination is the destroyer of dreams. Yeah, it's the destroyer. It's the killer of dreams. So take action. Be present where you're present. That's the real gift. Be present where you are present. That is the real gift. Today is your January 1st. Say today.
Today.
Say today is your January 1st.
Today is January 1st.
Say it loud.
Today is January 1st.
That's it. Don't forget it.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission is to provide you, the entrepreneur, with the resources. It takes resources. It takes revenue to do all the things you want to do, and especially to execute that vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And you're at the right place at the right time. If you're ready to live your truth, you're ready to really achieve your dreams, and you're ready to be successful. And the person we're going to have a conversation with is none other than the one and only Matthew C. Horne. Matthew, what's one of the reasons you wrote the book, man? And tell us, what is the book about?
Okay, the reason that I wrote the book is because I saw people not giving themselves permission to live their truth. Whatever dreams and callings and desires were beckoning them to create them. I saw people succumbing to the doubt and opinions that were an enemy towards them actualizing their dreams. That's why I wrote the book. The Successful Dreamer, if I can hold it up there into the camera.
Of course, get a plug. I mean, I can't let you not have the book and get a plug. I mean, put it up. The Successful Dreamer.
Yeah, the Successful Dreamer is about initially how I start the book is chapter 1 is called Be Sold on Yourself.
It's called what? I didn't hear you say it one more time.
It's called Be Sold on Yourself. It's chapter 1. That's how I started the book.
Be sold on
yourself. And I felt the need to begin the book that way because we live in a social media age where everyone is comparing themselves to other people. We're unconsciously and consciously in competition with one another, and we're losing sight of who we are and what we actually have to offer. So in order to be a successful dreamer, you can't care about what's going on to the right and to the left of you, okay? In order to be a successful dreamer, you have to accept whatever hand that God dealt you. You have to be content with the fact that people to the right and to the left of you are going to have gifts, talents, and attributes that you're never going to have. And you're going to have to be content with the fact that you have gifts, talents, and abilities that other people are never going to have. So it's being a successful dreamer is about accepting your gifts, your talents, and your abilities. Okay. And then there.
Yeah. Let me ask a question if I can, and I love what I have. One of the things I enjoy about the book, and for those folks like Amber Smith, who's out there in Atlanta, she's saying good evening, fellas. She's out there. Nicole Brown Hurston says dream big, do bigger, fellas. She's out there watching. Regina, what's going on? Dorian, it's always a pleasure. There was one line you had in the book, and it was highlighted, and I really liked that. It's like for you to talk to that for a moment because I think it speaks to us living our truth, but also doing more for other folks. And you said, there's no greater gift you can deliver to this world outside of accepting what you were uniquely designed to do and delivering, this is the punchline, and delivering this unique gift to others. And talk about why that was so important to share your gift with other folks, not just to hold it and be selfish, but really to bless other people with the gift you've been given. That was powerful, man.
Oh, thank you. I had to share the gift because gifts are given to be freely given. So I understood that my gift was intertwined with my purpose, in that if I didn't deliver my gift, I would be shortchanging my fellow man. I would be shortchanging people because our gifts are literally God operating through us. So it was an easy decision to write books and to identify my gifts and understand the impact that they were designed to have. And to actually see that impact in play, to see people's lives change, and to hear the testimonials, people coming up to you in tears who've read your books or who may have seen you on different broadcasts like this, it just gives you the confidence to continue to move forward and continue to give yourself permission to be whoever you know that you are.
Yeah, in a moment, I want you to share how we as entrepreneurs can apply one of the principles in the book. So maybe you're going to share one. You share on chapter 1. I want you to share another principle. But as Earl heard you mention a moment, you got to be sold on yourself. I'd like to give him maybe a minute or two to talk about what being sold on yourself means as you hear you say those words. And Matthew, when you come back, I want you to talk to the entrepreneurs and share one more principle from this book. And also tell folks where they can get the book, okay? I mean, we don't want them going to Amazon, okay? I love Amazon, don't get me wrong. They're not a sponsor, okay? But where can they get the book at? Earl, very briefly if you can, we hear sold on yourself. He mentioned that. What went through your mind, man? What were you thinking?
Well, I think he's at the heart of it right now, because I think when you think of what people are sold on, there's a perceived value. And I think a lot of people right now struggle with actually accepting that they provide real value, that they are by themselves uniquely valuable. And I think to be sold on yourself, you have to first acknowledge that you have this value. And I think he's dead in the center of the bullseye, man. If you have to have self-value to be worthy. And if you're not worthy enough for something, you will never do what's required to get anything. You have to have a self-belief. You have to feel worthy. You have to be worthy in your own eyes, not in the eyes of others, in your own eyes. Those are the hardest eyes to be valuable in, because you know your backstory, you know your own excuses, right? You know when you cop out on yourself. But for those people that know they're valuable and believe it, and they have this sense of self-worth, then they're sold on themselves, and it's easy for them to then sell themselves.
Love it. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for sharing. All right, Matthew, give us another principle for the book. And before you do that, folks want to know where can they get the book, all right? I got 6 text messages already. My phone's blowing up. Where do you want them to go get the book? And then give us another principle for the entrepreneurs that are out there right now.
Okay. Everyone, you can get my new book, The Successful Dreamer, at www.matthewchorne, MATTHEWCHORNE, MatthewChorne.com.
Got it. And what's the next principle that you have you want to offer to us?
Okay. One principle I want to offer from the book is to simply don't give up. You know, what's going to happen is that when you undertake, your dream pursuit, you go after what's yours in life. You bypass the fear, the doubt, the opposition, and now you're in excuse me. Mm-hmm. And now you're in the game. What's going to happen is that you're going to be sustained. You're going to begin to get breakthroughs. Okay. And these breakthroughs are going to allow you to continue to pursue and live your dreams and to impact people and just operate in your purpose. Okay. But the principle I want to offer is to hold on until you begin to experience life-altering breakthroughs. Okay. The life-altering breakthroughs are when it's your time. Okay. It's your time when an overwhelming amount of breakthroughs take place on your behalf that logic cannot explain. Okay. So hold on. You're going to go through ups and downs. There's going to be periods where you're going to have to get acclimated to this dream pursuit. It's not a popular way of living or moving, but hold on, learn your lessons, evolve as you pursue your dreams. And then you will reach a place where you're not just going to be experiencing breakthroughs. You're going to start to experience life-altering breakthroughs. And that's when it's your time, and you're going to elevate to levels that you never fathomed that you would reach.
Now, I love that. I don't want to give away the whole book to these folks that are listening, but do you? But I love you. He's such a giver. I mean, they both came with a heart to give, a heart to serve. They didn't ask me for a Cash App payment before they showed up. There was no Zelly payments needed. They said, Shay, we came to serve. No credit card or check. But I'm curious. You keep saying you got to hold on. You got to keep going. Do you share in the book a challenge? And maybe you'll be, I guess I asked the question a little different. Do you mind sharing a time when you had to go through a challenge and there was a setback for you? And what did you do to apply these principles to kind of move forward to keep on going until your breakthrough?
Okay, now here's the time to be very transparent, and thank you for that question, Shay. There was a time in my career I had put in a significant amount of time, and people around me thought I wasn't progressing fast enough. They really began to doubt me. It was 1 year that everybody was just saying, man, you're not making it, you're not progressing. It was family, my girlfriend, the public, was kind of coming at me in a questionable manner at some of my book signings. It was a very challenging 1 year when society says that I was not progressing as fast as everyone thought I should. But the principle I can implement is that I simply held on. Even though people were saying that I wasn't progressing, I knew that things were working out on my behalf, so to speak. So I stuck with it. And what ended up happening was that not too long after that, I began to experience those life-altering breakthroughs that I talked about. When society said I was at my lowest, that's when my creator, God, says that I was at my best. And I began to break through, have, financial rewards that I've never experienced, began to, just pay cash for anything that I wanted. And You know, it was a complete turnaround, but it happened in an instant. So I just want to encourage people, you know, right when you're at that precipice and when you're about to break through, the pressure is going to be immense. But I don't want you to get it down. I want you to be joyful when you hit that pocket of that opposition and everything is intensified. That's when you push through, because what's on the other side of that is your promised land. That's when you're going to experience those life-altering breakthroughs, and it's going to be your time, and it's going to be undeniable that you've been elevated. Okay, so that's all I have to say to you all regarding that. Is do exactly what I did. Hold on when it gets the roughest. Hold on the tightest. Understand that you have a provision. You have a grace to make it through these periods. And you would not be in this if you weren't equipped to make it through. So simply hold on. Whatever is true to you, whatever your vision that you've been given, hold on, keep pushing towards it, and be unapologetic. Don't worry about what people are saying, what you're thinking. Just continue to hold on to whatever is true to you, and you will arrive at your promised land.
Woo! You will arrive at your promised land. You listen to none other than Matthew C. Horne. He's the author of The Successful Dreamer, How to Unapologetically Live Your Truth. We come back. We're going to ask him a few more questions, but he's going to help us out here. He's going to help us be successful. And then we have none other than the one and only Earl Mann. Earl Mann is going to talk about really how to execute that game plan, how to make it happen. We'll be back in just a moment. I'm going to go over to Dr. Kim Warren Martin. Dr. Kim Warren Martin is down in Little Rock, Arkansas. And she says, value your values. We'll be back in just a moment. Take it away, Dr.
Hi there, all you wonderful, happy entrepreneurs. You guys are awesome and you rock. And today is your January 1st. And yes, you control the calendar. This is Dr. Kim Warren Martin, founder of Successful and Fulfilled, bringing you my thought of the week here on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. This week's thought is value your values. So what do you mean by that, Kim? Well, let's break it down. Value has to do with how much something is worth, either in terms of cash or importance. And your values, my values, that's what's important to us. So they're like a compass that point us to our true north. So when I say value your values, that means place high importance on what you've identified is important to you. Now, maybe you value authenticity, kindness, teamwork, integrity, or service. If these are things you value, don't compromise these things in your life or your business. So here are 3 things you can do in order not to compromise your values. Number 1 is know what they are. And if you're not sure, you can literally Google values assessment, and there's any number of free assessments out there you can take to get some idea. Number 2, you want to keep a list of your values in front of you as a reminder of what they are. And number 3, you want to share your values personally and professionally, because when values are shared, they can literally build cohesion in any relationship, whether personal or professional. Now, could there ever be potential conflicts in our values? You bet. And in those moments, just consider what needs are being satisfied if you go against your values, and ask yourself, how can I get this need met without compromising my values? Roy E. Disney said, when your values are clear to you, making decisions becomes easier. This is Dr. Kim Warren Martin, founder of Successful and Fulfilled, with the thought, value your values, here on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Until next time, make it a great day. Back over to you, Shay.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country, where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission is to provide you, the viewers, with the resources you need necessary to execute that big vision that was given to you for the people you were called to serve. And we're here, none other, with Matthew C. Horne, and I think he's on this side, Earl Mann. Earl Mann's going to talk about how to supercharge your game plan. So you wrote a plan, you have the plan, now you got to execute the plan. You got to supercharge that plan and what it takes to make that happen. Matthew C. Horne, if I can, the book that you've written, what's the #1 reason someone should go to Matthew C. Horne right now? Not only purchase the book for themselves, but also purchase it for someone else so they can pay this message for it. Maybe purchase 5 or 6 copies to give it out. What's one of the reasons they should do that?
Okay, one of the reasons you should purchase my new book, The Successful Dreamer, is that I've quantified the dream pursuit. I show you what happens at every stage of your dream pursuit, leading up to you crossing over and going into your promised land. So if there's ever been any concern, any questions about what are the inner workings of a dream pursuit and how do I emerge victorious and how do I live my dreams, my new book, The Successful Dreamer, is the blueprint to show any person how to successfully live their dreams.
Man, I love that, man. Now, do you still get out there and play ball, man? Are you still playing ball, or are you just kind of watching on the sidelines? I had to ask the question, you know. I mean, I get out there and play with my son. My son's a little older, you know, but I get out there every now and then. I still can play a little bit, by the way. Do you still? I'm just curious. Do you still play?
Hey, Shay, I'm still really nice, Shay.
I saw him up at Capitol Hill at a place called Eastern Market in Washington D.C. Man, I'm just curious. I'm just curious, man. I'm just curious. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. But go get the book. Where should they get the book, and how should they connect with you?
Okay, you can get the book at www.matthewchorne.com, and you can connect with me all over social media at Matthew C. Horne. I'm unified, branded the same way on all social media platforms.
Oh, man, I love it. I love it. Earl, man, as you're sitting over there, I know you're going to be talking about how to supercharge your game plan. Tell us a little bit about what supercharge your game plan even means, by the way. And folks are tuning in right now. I'm assuming they can supercharge their life. They can supercharge their business. But I'll let you frame the conversation, because we're going to be diving deep into that in just a moment.
It sounds great, man. And I'm going to try to give you the shortcuts to the things I've learned going the long, hard way, right? Focus on what I've learned through my journey. And hopefully these are things that I believe you can apply to whatever game plan you have, whether it be business, physical, weight related, whatever. There are some fundamental things that if we adhere to, they just work. So, I like to look at big disciplines for inspiration and ideas. So I look at biology, at physics, at business, and I look for what are the commonalities in all these things that are consistent across all these disciplines. And then I come up with fundamentals. Mm-hmm. And then my belief is that if I apply fundamentals, they will create a certain result. I'm going to talk about three things, Shay, that I think will help supercharge. And by supercharge, I mean accelerate your positive result in any game plan you have. And I'm going to talk about systems, I'm going to talk about cycles, and I'm going to talk about proof. And I want to name those three things up front, just in case I get off on a tangent. You can make sure that I cover those three things.
You said systems,
cycles, and proof. If you apply these three things to any game plan you have, you will accelerate your results. First of all, most people that aren't right now going to get any results because they're going to abandon their plan and quit. If you apply these three things, you won't. So I'm going to try to give you the answers to the test of how to stay engaged and to get a positive result, regardless of what your game plan is. These are just fundamental philosophies, if you will, but they're philosophies you can apply.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, he has made the big, bold claim. Someone look right below the video. I see you, Dr. Teresa Royal Brown, Tanisha Simpson, Regina's out there, Belinda Hopkins. Thank you for all your notes. Someone do me a favor. Hit the watch party. Hit the share button. When you hit the share button, write those words. It's time to supercharge your game plan. It's time to supercharge your game plan to get the results you've been looking for. I can't wait. We come back. Earl Mann's going to give us those three golden nuggets, those three fundamental principles. And my promise to you is it'll change your life. My promise to you, it will change someone else's life. But we believe in the giver's economy here at the Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe. And the giver's economy says the person outgives the competition, out-earns the competition. Let me say that again. The person outgives the competition, out-earns the competition. So take a moment, hit the watch party. If you've done it before, hit the share button. Take the link and pay it forward to your private group, and you can put it on social media. They've given me our permission to do that. And if you're watching the podcast, grab the link. You can do that as well. When we come back, we'll be talking to none other than Earl Mann. We're going to go over to Greenbelt. Well, I've been staying in Maryland tonight. What's up with this? We'll be going over, I think, Greenbelt, Maryland, to the power couple, none other than James and Cynthia Green. And they talk about power couple, power vision. Oh, this is good. It's always good. We'll be back in just.
We'd like to say hello to all of the Happy Entrepreneur Tribe. We are James and Cynthia Green of Marriage Built to Last, your marriage and relationship visionary strategist. And we're going to give you the married couple's thought of the week. This is your January 1st, which means it's a new year, it's a new decade, it's a new you. And we want to talk about power couples, power vision.
Yes. So we have a question for you today. When is the last time you asked your spouse what is their greatest dream, their greatest vision? And if you have not done so, that's your assignment. We want you to sit down, have a conversation, and find out what is your spouse's biggest dream? What is their biggest vision? Why are we asking you to do that? Because guess what? Once you know, you can then gain clarity, number one, of your spouse's dream. Number two, then you can be a support for your spouse's dream. Because guess what? You don't need to find an accountability partner. You already got an accountability partner, right? And then number three, we want you to cheer them on. Because James and I, we believe that you are and should be your spouse's biggest cheerleader. So your assignment, sit down with your spouse, find out what is their biggest, greatest dream, gain clarity, agree to support one another, and then get behind each other and cheer each other on. This is our thought of the week. We are James and Cynthia Green of Marriage Built to Last, your marriage and relationship visionary strategist. And remember, if you build it, it will last.
Now, Shay, back to you.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country where we're on a mission. That is to empower, that is to inspire, and that's to provide you, the entrepreneur. You're the one that's watching right now. You're the one with the big dreams. With all the resources, it takes money. With all the resources, it takes a team. With all the resources, it takes more than one person to be successful that you need to execute that vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And right now, we're going to have a conversation with the one and only, the man himself. He's in the aisle. He's over there right now. He's got a big smile on his face. And he's going to be talking about how to supercharge your game plan. And he made a commitment. He said he's got 3 ideas. Now, how many ideas do you need to change your life? 1. How many ideas do you need to change your life? 1. Let me say this and I'll turn it over to you. 1 good idea implemented is better than 1,000 ideas you know right now. So Earl, I know you got 3. They only need 1. They got I don't know how many golden nuggets from Matthew. Go ahead and talk about systems, which Regina put down, cycles, which Warren Martin put down, and proof. Regina's watching right now. What's up, Vivian, Wesley? I see you out there. They're taking notes. Thank you to all our digital note takers. Over to you, Earl. Give it to us. Give us number 1 first. Give us number 1.
I appreciate that. And these are, I like people to approach these ideas as philosophies that you can use to enhance your probability of being successful with your game plan. So let's talk about systems. Let's define it first. A system is simply something that was engineered to produce a specific result. That's all a system is. When people hear systems, a lot of times they think of something complicated or something that has to do with technology. But quite honestly, a hammer is a system for putting a nail in a board. A pot is a system for boiling water. A system is just something that was pre-engineered to create a specific result. Now, here's all you need to understand, that there's a system out there for every aspect of anything you're trying to do. And it's not especially related to goals, right? If you take your goals and you break down the things you want to accomplish, there already exists a system in place that you can use to accomplish that task. Here's the problem, Shay, if you don't use a system. If you don't use a system, you're winging it, which means even if you strike gold, let's just say you're lucky and you strike gold and you have a great result, you can't repeat it. You can't just automatically turn around and do it again and do it over and over again because you don't even know how you did it. So one of the fundamental reasons why you want to use a system is because 1, it's engineered to produce a certain result, but 2, it gives you a gauge in which you can change you can measure your results. What you can't measure, you can't change, and then you can build upon that, right? You have a baseline. Let me give you a really quick example. I think people understand it, but let me show you how simple what I mean by systems. An elevator pitch can be a system. it's quite often something that people never put a system around. You ask people what they do, they make it up on the spot. That's inconsistent and unreliable. A bad system is better than no system. Let me give you an example. An elevator pitch system that comes to mind is, you know how, well, what I do is. So here's the system. It's very simple. You know how, and then you fill in a blank related to what it is you do. And I'm going to give you an example. Well, what I do is. The actual system is, you know how, and what I do is. For example, I have a mindset-centric podcast. You know how people are constantly running through life complaining how their life's not fulfilling or their job doesn't have any meaning to them. Well, what I do is I have a podcast where I give people food for thought, things that I've learned along the way to help explore, help expand their horizon related to that topic. That's a simple example of an elevator pitch system. You have to apply a system to make things consistent and to have a reasonable expectation of creating a positive result that you can measure and grow. Now, the second thing you need to focus on is a cycle.
Well, before you get into second things, I know you on a run. I know you on the run. You talked about systems, and I guess my question would be, why do people not implement systems? I mean, it sounds easy, right? It sounds pretty simple. It's like diet and exercise, you live a long life. People don't do that. Spend less than you make, you always have money. People don't do that. So I guess my question is, in all your studies, you might have an answer, I don't know, but just based on your experience, the amount of humans you've coached and worked with and all the books you read, why is it that we just don't implement the systems that we know? Why?
I think because people fall for the misconception that it's a unique personal skill that's going to make them successful. It's something unique and special about them and other people that make them successful. When in fact, it is usually not that. It is usually somebody that has the discipline to apply a system that becomes the most successful. Sales is a great area, and you know this better than most.
Yeah.
There are people that believe that they are just natural born salespeople that are fundamentally good. They can sell ice Eskimos, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But the research will show you that the salespeople that take a systematic approach to selling are in fact, rainmakers. Those are the people that go up through the system, that produce that can expect results, and that can build upon those expected results. We're just not we're never taught to think from a systematic point of view. We're taught to think from a unique skill set point of view. Systems are the magic. E. Gerber, there's a book called The E-Myth. I think his name is Michael Gerber.
Yeah.
He talks about how what you do to make a successful business is you put systems in place to run the business and people in place to manage the systems. So I've whole on adopted that school of thought. I'm a very systematic thinker. There's a system for anything you want to accomplish, and your chances go up 1,000-fold if you use a system as opposed to just trying to wing it and do it your own unique special way on the fly. And I can't overstate what happens when you stumble upon the right formula of how to do it right. You will not be able to repeat that. You will not be able to repeat that over and over and over again. It's just like it's no more valuable than winning the lottery if you're not taking a systematic approach.
Now that makes sense. Ladies and gentlemen, we come back. He's going to give us point number 2 and point number 3. He gave us point number 1, systems. He'll talk about cycles and proof as soon as we return. Here's what I want you right below, because he's right on the money. Let me give you a one-liner. Let me give you a Shayism. Let me give you a one-liner. Write this in your notes. Someone pay this message for it. Here it is. Systems beat goals every time. He's right on point. Systems beat goals every time. You can have goals, but they're always in the future. He's stressing that you need a system to do it over and over and over and over and over again. We're going to come back and learn about cycles. We'll learn about proofs in just a second. He's teaching us step-by-step how to supercharge your game plan. You're with Earl, Mann, how to supercharge your game plan. We'll be back. We're going to go down to Raleigh, North Carolina to Dr. Kenneth Thigpen. And Dr. Kenneth Thigpen talks about manifestation over hesitation. And we come back, Earl Mann's going to break it down for us, give us the last 2. He said 3, the last 2 points that he has. Cycles and proof. We'll be back in just a moment. Dr. Kenneth Thigpen, take it away.
Hello, it's your girl, Dr. Kenneth Thigpen, also known as Dr. K, founder of Rise Women's Network. And Rise Women's Network is pleased to present to you, #Next Sister Up. I'm with you in the Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe, and today is my January 1st. Here's your thought of the week: manifestation over hesitation. You see, hesitation is the highest form of self-sabotage. You know, when I think of hesitation, I often think of double dutching. And when people would be turning the rope, you would have an individual who was waiting to jump in, and they would be doing this whole back and forth number of hesitating, of trying to think when the best time was to go in. You see, in that same hesitation is in life, where we become hesitant of the things that we're going to manifest because of fear or lack of confidence or lack of courage or the self-doubt or procrastination, or because we're over-analyzing things. You know what? It's time to manifest what it is that we want in our life, because whatever we focus on is what we will get to experience in life. So it's important that first that we are crystal clear on what it is that we want. We should be asking for what we desire with such precision that there's no question in regards to what we want. Next, we need to let go of these limiting beliefs. You see, these limiting beliefs are the things that are holding us back and holding us down. It's time to let them go. Next, we want to stay positive. Let's focus on the positive. So all this negative self-talk that we're telling ourselves, it's time to replace it with positive reframes. Next, we want to take action. And if you joined us last week, you would know that we talked about taking action. So no matter how small or how minuscule that step forward in the right direction might seem, it's important that you take action. And lastly, you want to be able to acknowledge and be grateful about the things that have already happened. Be grateful and acknowledge the things that you have already done to be able to manifest things in your life. And so I challenge you this week: stop hesitating, and it's time to manifest. So start thinking, start asking, start believing, start acting, and start receiving. It's your girl, Dr. K. Make it a great day.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country. And we're on a mission to empower, we're on a mission to inspire, and we're on a mission to provide you with the resources you need necessary to execute that vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And Earl, Mann, is breaking down how to supercharge your game plan. I want you to imagine for a moment, did you have this vision? You have this game plan for this vision. You know exactly what you want. You've been given the experience. You've been given the expertise. God's blessed you with the talent. And now you need to supercharge to make it happen. And you know, as you're listening, that this is your moment. You know this is your time. And this is your year. So I'm going to tell you to watch right now with new eyes. Listen with new ears. He gives you the last 2 points. The first one was system. One system I want you to have is to listen. No, in all seriousness. But he's going to give you the next 2 points that are going to be really important. Earl, go ahead and share those 2 points now, please.
Absolutely, man. So I want to talk about cycles, and let's start with definitions. By cycle, I just mean repeatable pattern. That's all I mean. Repeatable pattern. We could not build civilizations as humans until we understood the repeatable pattern of the changes of the seasons, so we could organize the way we made our food and found our food. There's not a living organism on this planet that isn't alive because of the repeatable pattern called the heartbeat. All of life itself centers around a repetitive pattern, a cycle over and over and over again. So if you have activities that are required for you to be successful in your game plan, you must associate your activity with a repeatable pattern. You must give it a heartbeat. You must give it life. So the shortcut, or the language shortcuts the system shortcuts I like to use in terms of language, are always and whenever. So if you say, whenever I do this, I do that, you're talking about a pattern. If you say every is another indicator word, every Wednesday I do something, then your pattern is a 7-day cycle. Every Wednesday. If you say every day I do something, now you have a cycle that repeats every 24 hours. The shorter the cycle, the more power it's going to generate. If you do, 1 day a week is better than 1 week a month. 1 hour a day is better than 1 day a week. But if you don't have a heartbeat, if you don't associate your activity with a repeatable pattern, with something that repeats over and over and over and over again, you might be busy, but whatever it is your task is does not have a heartbeat. It's not alive. It's not going to survive. You have to treat it like that. You have to treat it like, I must do this every day, or I must do this every other day. It doesn't matter the frequency. You make that work in your own life, but it has to be a repeatable cycle. It has to be on a repeatable cycle. Otherwise, that task, that goal, that dream doesn't have a heartbeat. And just like us as people, if our heart only beat it whenever, we wouldn't live. We wouldn't be alive. It has to be on a regular schedule.
Man,
cycles. Very simple concept. The last thing I want to talk about,
it, Earl. If I can jump in, I'm loving it.
And these are simple. These are philosophies, people. I want you to apply these however they make sense in your life, but they're fundamental philosophies. The other thing is this idea I call of creating proof, evidence in the real world.
And Earl, if I can, before you go to proof,
sure.
Matthew, as you're listening right now, and he's talking about the importance of cycles, and everything has a cycle. I'm just curious, as you're listening, man, and you're like me, you're a student, you're right there. I love this because we're educated every night listening to folks like Earl and yourself. What's going through your mind, man? What do you think about when you hear cycles?
Yeah, what's going on through my mind is just the accuracy of what Earl is saying, that life is cyclical. And, you know, in order to, especially as an entrepreneur, in order to brace yourself, especially financially, Shay, you said something, you know, you'll always have money if you don't spend as much as you make. I'm thinking about the highs and lows of entrepreneurship. It's inevitable. Everyone's going to experience those. But I'm thinking about something that I even wrote about in my book about living below your means, so that, you know, a setback does not have to, you know, completely blow up your world. That you can maintain your lifestyle even when the seasons of finances actually slow down as an entrepreneur. So when I'm thinking about cycles, I'm thinking about buffering yourself in your life so that, you know, when you hit a little bit of a dip, which happens in entrepreneurship, you know, in a down cycle, you know, you can still maintain your lifestyle and not miss a beat. So it's something my college coach said when I think about cycles. He said the great players anticipate and the good players react. So if you understand the cyclical nature of life, you will always anticipate, because the thing about life, by the time it's time to react in life, it's normally too late. So
good point, man. Spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on. Thanks a lot. And Kim Warren Martin, she's out there. I don't know if she's watching. She's putting cycles, repeatable patterns, gives your dream a heartbeat. You determine the frequency. How powerful is that? They're taking notes as you're talking right now. All right, Earl, you gave us number 1, which was systems. You gave us number 2, which was cycles. Now talk about this proof. I'm curious where you're going with this myself. I'm all in, man.
All right, man. So I'm going to tell you very quickly that you have to find a way to create proof in the real world. We all live in this world where everybody talks about their intentions and these things they want. But there's a big disconnect between that conversation people have with the world and what they physically do in this world. So here's the quick story, really quick example I give you to illustrate the point.
Okay.
I've called it now. I've talked about this so many times. I've given it a name. I call it the deaf judge. And let's just imagine that there are masters of the universe around you that have the ability to grant you any dream that you want. And they're in your room with you, but you can't see them. But they're deaf. They can't hear anything you say. So all the great dreams you talk about and all the I want to do these and your plans, they can't hear, but they can see and they can take notes. So here's my question. If the deaf judge will follow you all day long, watch you when you get up in the morning, watch you all the way through the day, and not leave your bedside until you go to sleep at night, and then they go away to their council of great people, and that council asks the person that watched you, hey, what's Matthew trying to be in life? What's he want? If they should be able to answer the question. They should be able to answer exactly who you are, what you're trying to become, based upon what they saw. And my point, and what I'm getting at is, you know, for people that say they want to lose 15 pounds, I hear you say it, But if somebody was just watching, would you have created the evidence that supports your intention to lose 15 pounds without you saying it? With a deaf person just watching, for those people that say, you know what, I got this job, I want my business, I want to have my own, I want to be my own boss. Really? Would the deaf judge that watched you do everything you did today, everything you did today, not said today, not thought today, everything you did today, would they have any idea at all that you're trying to be your own boss? Now, if they watch you look at the back of a label and look at the ingredients, if they watch you write down your to-do list and mark things off, they get insight into who you're trying to become, what you're trying to do, because you're creating physical evidence of that intention. It's just that simple, Shay. Most people create zero evidence about the things they say they want to do and become, and I would be the person that gives the tough love reply to that and say, well, that's just talk. You're not really trying to do that, because if you were trying to do that, I would see physical evidence of you doing that. You have to create, that's what I call the proof. You have to create proof in this world of the things you're trying to do. And if you do these three things together, ask yourself, what systems are you applying to the things you're trying to do? If you don't know the answer to that, then go find the answer to that. After that, what cycles are you putting those things on? You have to give it a heartbeat, right? It's not alive if it doesn't have a heartbeat. So now I have a system of the thing I need to do to have this project come to fruition. Okay, my activity now has to be on a cycle, which means I have to always, or I have to every, or you have to put it on a cycle. And you have to put it on a cycle to keep it alive, for it to be a living thing. Now, what proof did you create of all of that? Show me your proof. You want to be your own boss. Really? Prove it. Oh, you want to be healthier. Really? Show me. I want to be a millionaire. Really? Show me your proof. Not that today's proof. What did you do today? What did you do in the last 24 hours, last 36 hours? I don't even know what today is, Shay. We're almost at the end of January. What have you done since January? Show me the proof. Show me the January proof that supports that you're trying to be this person that you're constantly saying you're trying to be, that you're trying to become this person that you're saying, that you're trying to get what you pray for. Show me the proof, right? If the proof is there and it has a life because you're giving it a heartbeat, and you are applying systems to the way you approach it, then what you've just moved is the needle of probability. You've just moved the needle of probability from kinda could maybe happen to gonna happen. The only thing you can't control is time, but you can definitely control the gonna happen. It will happen over time if you put these fundamentals in place. And if you shorten the cycle, give it more power, you condense the time required to see the result of this. I know it sounds simple, Shay, and I know people are saying it can't be that easy. Well, you know what? I dare you to prove me wrong. I double down dare you to prove me wrong. I dare you to put some systems in place around the things that you know you need to be doing. I dare you to give something that supports your goals a life, to actually bring it to life with a heartbeat. I dare you to do it. And then I triple dare you to create daily physical evidence in the real world that that's what you actually intend to happen. I dare you to do those things and to not have it generate a result. I dare you. That's my dare for 2020.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm happy. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, you're hearing the one and only Earl Mann. I'm going to ask Earl Mann, how can you connect with him, by the way? He has a podcast. He has a great show. Follow him. I'm going to let him give it. Earl, how should they connect with you? How should they follow you, man? Take it away.
If you earltmann.com will take you to a lifestyle brand I have, and then there's a link to my podcast. I have a podcast called Symbol Athletica. It's a podcast for purpose-driven people that have committed to living a life of purpose, whatever that is. All I do in that podcast is share things for you to think about. But I'm easy to find, any social media link out there. But if you go to earltmann.com, it'll link you over to Symbol Athletica, and at the top there's a link to my podcast. And it's just food for thought. It's a passion project. There's no business related to my podcast, but it's a passion project. I'm just sharing things that have altered my path, have changed my direction, have changed my, in my opinion, have given me a little bit more power to create, design, destiny type of thing.
Yeah, I'm loving it, man. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we're going to go ahead and ask. We're going to do a segment called Rapid Fire. It's one of my favorite segments. Of course, they're all my favorite segments, or we wouldn't do them. Labor of love. But the favorite segment, we get to ask whatever question on our mind or your mind directly to Matthew C. Horne and Earl T. Mann. That's Mann with 2 N's, by the way. And they're going to answer in a minute or less. I did say a minute or less. I know a minute or what? Less. You guys heard the less part, didn't you? I can't wait. We'll come back in just a moment. We're going to go up to New York, New York. So nice they named it twice. And there's a gentleman by the name of Delano A. Johnson. And Delano A. Johnson talked about a concept I think that every entrepreneur needs to hear as often as possible. And his book is called I Refuse to Live Talented and Broke. And that's what he's going to talk about here. And how true is that for an entrepreneur? I refuse to live talented and broke. Delano, take it away, my man.
I live in a city where there are more creative people per square mile than any other place on the planet. Question is, how many of them are successful? How many are just like I was, talented and broke? Being broke is more than just not having money. It's failure to turn opportunities into profitable businesses and relationships that last. My mother always said, people perish for lack of knowledge. A compass takes you in the direction of your destiny, but knowledge of obstacles and distractions will ensure you arrive safely. My mentor once said to me, if I had half your talent, I'd have 4 times my wealth. Since then, I made a promise to God. If he would help me unlock my earning potential, I would pay it forward and help others do the same. That's why I wrote this book, because God made us too talented to live our lives broke. That includes you.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country, where we're on a mission that is to inspire. We're on a mission that is to empower, and we're on a mission that's to provide you with the resources you need to execute the vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And so now we're going into a rapid-fire segment. That means I ask a question, whatever's on my mind, and they were both very cool. They didn't give me a list of questions I had to answer. I didn't have to ask any question. They just said, Shay, let's just hang out. And isn't that the best when you can just hang out and have a conversation? Like we're just at the barbershop or something. It's really cool. Well, I don't get the chance to go to the barbershop anymore. But there was a time. There was a time. But in all seriousness, Matthew C. Horne, you've written 6 books. You help authors publish books. You're a PR person. Of all the books you read, now I know you've read so many books, it's hard to do this. What's one book that you've read recently, and what's one idea that you would like to share from that book with us, the audience?
One of the books I've read recently is by one of my authors who, her name is Doris H. Dancy. And she wrote a fictional book, and it was from her Redemptive Love series. And what I learned from her latest book was that nobody, as long as they're breathing, is beyond redemption. And that, life is going to put us in situations and circumstances that if we make the right choices, even after we've made wrong turns, there's still a opportunity for redemption. So her name is Doris H. Dancy. She has the Redemptive Love series. And with her latest book, that's what I learned, is that we are never beyond redemption as long as we're breathing.
Man, I love it. Thanks a lot for sharing it, man. That's really cool. Earl, man, I know you've been mentored by so many people along this journey. If there was one mentor, you don't have to mention their name, but maybe a mentor you've had along your journey, what's one lesson your mentor taught you that's helped you that you'd want to share with us, the audience?
Wow, that's a very hard question, but I'm going to say that the biggest lesson I eventually received was that my personal philosophy is by far the most important asset that I have as a human. By far. It's not even, everything else is not even, it's like light years away from everything else. I had to, one, understand the value of my personal philosophy, but then I had to take ownership of it. I had to understand where it came from, what it was there, did it serve me or not serve me, and do I truly accept it as my own? And then I started to massage that and build that. But that is where I spend most of my time, effort, and focus. My philosophy, as soft as that sounds.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks a lot for sharing. You know, Matthew, when you're out there and you're considering working with an author, or even working with them from a PR perspective, which is something you do, what's one of the characteristics that you look for in someone you're partnering with, someone you're going to do a collaboration with? What's one characteristic that you really look for in them, a quality in that human being?
And this is in terms of an author that I'm going to sign to publish the book,
or maybe just someone you're looking to partner with. And you wrote the book, The Successful Dreamer, and there might be someone out there that's saying, "Wow, I like to partner with him. I wrote a book, or I like to work with him." Is there a certain characteristic you look for in your clients, or a certain characteristic you look for when you're partnering with someone that you really look for?
Just compatibility, and just making sure we want the same things, and making sure that we both have a certain level of reverence and respect and anticipation for being in each other's presence. Just having that good energy, so to speak. If the energy is present, then everything else will take care of itself. So just making sure, like I said, we have that compatibility, and we want the same things and the same outcomes, and that energy is present to facilitate the things that we both want. And that's my requirement.
Sure. Thanks a lot for sharing it. Earl, as you're sitting over there thinking right now, what's the number one thing? Now, it's kind of hard to say number one, right? It's loaded. But the number one thing you believe is hold people back from supercharging their game plan. Like, we had to say, what's the number one thing? You gave us 3 points earlier. There's probably 1,000 out there. But based on your experience, man, what's the number one thing that hold people back from doing what they said or thought or believed they were going to do?
Yeah, they haven't identified anything that they fear not living with more than they fear the hardship required to get it. People have resolved to live a life of compromise. And, once you do that, you're never going to do what's required to change. If what you're willing to tolerate, you'll never change. That's a quote that rang so deep in my bones it almost shook me when the first time I heard it. But whatever you're willing to tolerate, you're never going to change. So the reason why people aren't willing to do what they need to do is because they're willing to tolerate not having it.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Last question over to you, Matthew. When you hear the word discipline, what's one of the ways that you're able to apply discipline in your own life? What's one of your own systems, your own strategy that allows you to do the things that you need to do every single day?
Okay. What allows me to do what I want to do, what I need to do every single day in terms of discipline is I've accepted the reality of what must be done to accomplish the things that I want from life. You can, as Earl was saying earlier, if you don't have certain systems in place, then you're not going to get a result, and you're not going to have any proof. So what I do is I operate according to desire and not according to delusion. Okay. If you truly desire something, that is going to be accompanied by a consistent and a concerted effort that you're going to put forth until you get there. So I make sure that I have that level of desire that lines up with the things that I believe are for me in life. But I don't hover in the lane of delusion. Delusion is nothing more than, words coming out of your mouth, no effort whatsoever. And like Earl said, there's no proof if it's delusion. So I want to present that to the listeners. You can operate in the realm of desire, or you can operate in the realm of delusion.
Yeah, I love it, man. And Earl, I know you may have mentioned this earlier, but I'd like you to reiterate. I know you have your podcast that's all around being achieving what you want to achieve in life. What's one reason you gave it the name that you gave it? Tell us the name one more time. And what's the meaning behind the name for those folks that are listening?
Yeah, it's pretty much summarizes kind of the spirit of my ethos that we talked about tonight, right? Which is symbol. I do believe that we are the greatest living symbols of our beliefs as individuals. We symbolize the things we believe. And Athletica is my idea that life is full of challenge. Life is challenge. We think of athletics as a challenge, but everything in life is a challenge. And a tough love takeaway I'm going to give to people today, that nothing you want, will ever value, or will ever bother to remember sits on this side of fear, this side of discomfort, this side of uneasiness. It's all on the other side of that. And that's the Athletica part of it. You have to approach it like an athlete and go do what it takes to win.
Man, I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we're going to have them do two things. One, tell us how they can connect with you, or how you can connect with them. And then number two, they're going to give their final thoughts, their final comments for those folks out there like us, entrepreneurs. We've got to go out there when these lights go off. There's no raw, there's no music, and we got to go make it happen. And they're going to share their final thoughts to empower and to inspire you to do that. Here's what I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you all to give them a digital applause, And how do you give a digital applause? Well, you can look right below the video, and you can put "Thank you, Earl T. Mann," or "Thank you, Matthew C. Horne," or "We appreciate you, Earl," or "We appreciate you, Matthew," or share one idea that you received from them. Because one of the things that I know as I'm listening, as you're giving digital applause, look right below the video and put "Thank you," or "We appreciate you," or "Great job." One thing I know is that every one of you watching as entrepreneurs, you all can make more money. There's not one person watching or listening right now that's tuned in that cannot make more money. It can happen. It will happen for you. But here's what I know that I know that I know. Not any one of us can make more time. We can always make more money, but we can't make more time. And both Earl and Matthew has given us their most precious gift, which is time. They can't get this time back. So let's acknowledge them and thank them for being here. We're going to go over right now to Sakoni Prince. He's down in Mobile, Alabama, and he talks about stay consistent. Just stay consistent. We'll be right back with closing thoughts.
Hello everybody, how you doing today? This is Sakoni Prince of SakoniPrince.com, where we make motivation personal by introducing you to yourself. And I'm in the Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe, giving you my thought of the week. And I'm doing it because you guys rock. And today is my January 1st. And my thought of the week this week is stay consistent and weather the storm. You know, if you remember my thought of the week from last week, it's totally different this week. Because last week we had blue skies, we had barrels of buttery sunshine, and it was pristine. But today it's overcast and we're threatening torrential rain. And what I've come to understand is that life is a lot like that. You know, you find yourself one day you're up, the other day you're down. One day everything is sunny, next day everything is storming. But the question is, are you willing to weather the storm? Because weathering the storm is going to determine whether or not you're successful. We don't need any fair weather friends, and we really don't need any fair weather entrepreneurs. Because yes, things get hard, things get challenging, but you can make it. You can actually make it out of your situation. And you know what? I encourage you today. I don't care what it is you're facing or what it is you're going through. Hang in there and do what is needed and necessary in order to see yourself succeed. Hey, look, this is Sakoni Prince of SakoniPrince.com, where we make motivation personal by introducing you to yourself. And my thought of the week is stay consistent and weather the storm. Hey, look, back over to you, Shay.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country, where we're on a mission to empower, to inspire, and provide you with the resources you need to execute that vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And we want to thank two of our guests this evening. We want to thank none other than Matthew C. Horne. He is the new author, not new author per se. He's written 6 books and helped so many other folks write books. But he just released a new book called The Successful Dreamer, How to Unapologetically Live Your Truth. And you can go find it over at Matthew C. Horne. That's Matthew with 2 T's, I believe. C. Horne, Horne. And we encourage you to go over there, get the book, buy the book, pay the book for it. And none other than Earl T. Mann, who's been here right now talking about how to supercharge your game plan. But he gave us 3 principles. So you need systems, you need cycles, and you need proof. How true is that? So Matthew C. Horne, let me say thank you. Let me say we appreciate you. Got to have you back on, man. We got to have you back on. We'll go deeper into the book and some of the other books that you've written as well. You're doing some amazing things out there, and we really appreciate your heart to give and your heart to serve. I want to turn over to you first to give your closing comments to all the entrepreneurs who are watching right now who have big dreams. They'll be a successful dreamer, and they're ready to make it happen. Over to you, my brother.
Okay, I want to just, first of all, Shay, thanks for having me on the show, and audience, Happy Entrepreneur Tribe. Thank you for tuning in and sticking with us for this amount of time. My parting thoughts are to play your music exactly the way that it is given to you. Okay, I remember years ago, the James Brown biopic, Get On Up, came out, and it chronicled the life of James Brown and took it through all his different stages of his success in life. And there was a scene in the movie where he had been rehearsing with his band, and they had been rehearsing a specific song a certain way over a prolonged period of time. But just one day, James said, I want the drummer to come in at a different place. And one of his bandmates challenged him and said, that's not musically correct. And James said, you know, God gave you those ears. He said, does it sound good? Does it feel good? Then it's musical. He said, how you going to argue with God? Okay, so your purpose, you know, your dreams may not make logical sense to everybody around you, but you are obligated to play your music exactly the way that it was given to you. The next scene, after they rehearsed the music the way that James told them to play it the new way, the next scene cut over, and the audience was going crazy with them playing it the way that the bandmate said wasn't musically possible. Okay, so I want to just let you know that your music not only was intended for you to play it exactly the way that it was given to you, it also has a built-in audience. Just surrender. Don't worry about the outcomes. Just do your part and be obedient to whatever you feel compelled to do. Play your music exactly the way that it was given to you, and I promise you, your audience will manifest.
So well said. Once again, how can they connect with you, my brother?
Okay, you can connect with me. If you're looking for a motivational speaker, if you want to check out all 6 of my self-development books, and if you're looking to get your book published, please look at my website, www.matthewchorne.com. You can email me at Horne Speaks, HorneSpeaks. Email me directly at hornespeaks@yahoo.com. And if you want to connect on social media, please connect with me at Matthew C. Horne on every social media platform.
Thanks a lot, man. You rock. You rock. All right, over you, Earl. Let me first say thanks a lot, man. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate all you've done, man. You gave some golden nuggets this evening. You talked about supercharging your game plan, but you spent a good amount of time talking about how we can be a leader ourselves. You've got to be a leader of one before you're a leader of many. And you really dug down into that. And you challenged us not only to think bigger, not only to do bigger, but to execute the plan. At the end of the day, isn't that just a mantra? Execute the plan. With that being said, man, we have to have you again. I appreciate you. Thanks for answering the call. Thanks for being here. Thanks for calling me and reminding me as well, man. You're a rock star, man. That's the truth, man. I can't make these stories up. I get the call 5. Shay, right. I'm running down the steps, and we all made it happen, man. And you were cool as a cucumber. You know, one of the first rules they say is rule number 1, don't panic, right? Rule number 1, don't panic. And we didn't panic, and we made it happen. So with that being said, man, that's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. I can't make these stories up. What's your closing comments, man? First, how can they connect with you? And then your closing comments.
You know, man, I really appreciate just the opportunity, man. And if you could bottle that happiness, positive energy emanating from you, you would rival Coke, man. You got something special there. And I like to thank you for putting me in front of the audience of this tribe of entrepreneurs, man. Entrepreneurs, we're different people, guys. You got to understand that we're not normal by definition. We're not typical. We're not normal. We're not average. We are something completely different. And if I can, I inspire you to find something that you're passionate about. Most people assume that passions mean something you love. But if you look at the root word of passion, is more closely related to torture, actually. And so my question is, what would it pain you that not to do? That's probably going to give you some insight into what your passion could truly be. Once you figure out what that is, gear up and fight for it. We're a tribe of warriors. We, by definition, are gearing up to fight for something we believe in. But it's going to be that fight. That's going to create the memories that you're going to bother to retain. It's going to create bring the people in your life that you're going to choose to be your family. It's going to be that fight that makes this whole life journey a journey worth remembering. We're different. We're not average. We're not normal. We're entrepreneurs, and it's a unique and special thing.
So true, man. So true. And once again, how can they connect with you, man?
The easiest way I can think of off the top of my head, because I'm not normally, promoting myself, so if you go to earltmann.com, it'll take you to my lifestyle brand. There's a link to my podcast. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. I think if you just search Earl Mann, look for this face. I'll come up there somehow. I don't really have an organized effort around promoting myself as an individual, but I do have a lot of stuff out there, and it's just me trying to pay it forward, share with others what has been shared with me that works. If I can help you avoid a pothole, one person, then great. Then I think that was worth this whole conversation.
Yeah, indeed it was. Gentlemen, thanks a lot. And we want to thank all of you out there in the audience, all the viewers, all our folks on all the platforms, whether you're on a podcast or you're just listening in and you can't see these guys with their energy and the big smiles on their face, or you're watching right now. And all of you hit the share button. Thank you. All of you hit the watch button. Thank you. All of you made comments, every single one of you. Many of them, like Gwenda E.V. Moore says, yes, the soundtrack of my life is my truth. Siobhan's out there. Raymond London's out there. Clayton Jones is out there. Said, I caught here. I came in late, but I'm listening. I will listen to the replay. And all of our folks out there who are on Amazon Fire or Apple TV or Roku or YouTube, we appreciate every single one of you. Here's what I want you to know, that today is your January 1st. You can be a successful dreamer. Today is your January 1st. You can supercharge your game plan. Today is your January 1st. You can put a system in place. You can have the right cycles, and you can live the proof every single day, no matter what. And you have two of the baddest, brightest, most intelligent brothers that are right here, right now, that have laid it out for you. I encourage you to go back and listen to this, not one time, not two times, but 7 times. Why do I say listen to it 7 times? This burns into your subconscious mind, because this is your year. With that being said, everyone look right below the video as we close out and write these words. Today is my January 1st, because the best is yet to come. The best yet to come. The best is still yet to come. With that being said, my name, by the way, for those folks that are just tuning in for whatever reason, my name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless, and we wish you success. Thanks a lot, gentlemen. I appreciate y'all time, man. Y'all rock. Y'all are incredible. Thanks a lot. It's a lot of fun. You got to admit that. I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Yeah.
Thank you. God bless.